and today I have this privilege, I've got this privilege to take this session forward. So I hope that you all enjoyed the orientation and the cultural day. And today we are shifting gears from celebration to interrogation of contemporary trends with an incredible guest lecture on a topic that is shaping our future. Yes, AI, artificial intelligence. And I'm sure that you all have heard about AI, right? But can someone please share कि AI क्या होता है? And how is that even related to our course? Any guesses? Anyone? सबको पता है यार AI क्या होता है? कोई तो आंसर दे दो. I'm sure enough. Guys, any guesses? What is AI? You pursuing BJMC? कोई भी? Yes, please. Guys, any other guesses in this कि AI का मतलब artificial intelligence होता है उसके अलावा? अच्छा, for anyone, how is that even related to our course? Why are we talking about AI today?
That makes our work easier.
खड़े हो जाओ यार, कोई बात नहीं. Speak.
That makes our work easier.
How?
By consuming less time.
So I'm sure you all might have some basic idea about AI, right? It makes the world easy. AI का मतलब artificial intelligence होता है, and whatever guesses you have made. But it's clear that you have the basic understanding. And today we are going to delve deeper into this fascinating subject with a fireside chat on what is AI and AI Trends Unplugged. And we are honored to have with us two esteemed guests. And basically, they are the trailblazers in this field. Mr. Ishan Russell and Mr. Dhiraj Dhingra from our very own Times Club. So let's give them a big round of applause. I would now like to invite our Dean Sir, Professor Sanjeev Singh, along with Dr. Pallavi Bansal ma'am, to please join us on the stage to present a sapling of gratitude to our guests. Before we begin, let's take a moment to introduce our distinguished speakers. Mr. Dhiraj Dhingra has over 16 years of experience in the internet and media industry. As a core team member, he played a pivotal role in creating and shaping the next generation content management system for our very own Times Club, which, by the way, powers more than 80 digital properties, including 7 regional languages. And Dhiraj sir is known for his ability to enhance challenges and his fascination with the intersection of technology, business, and life. Well, Mr. Ishan Russell, on the other hand, is the founder and CEO of ldrx.ai. He is also the co-founder of the Image People, Democtech Solutions, and several other ventures. His entrepreneurial spirit and expertise in AI makes him a visionary in this rapidly evolving field. He has shifted paths from a TV journalism career to entrepreneurship and recognizing early on the transformative power of social media, especially in this age. With a history of shaping voter perspectives through the Image People and championing initiatives like Social Saheli for rural Indian women, Ishan sir has consistently identified gaps in leadership representation. In 2023, he founded ldrx.ai as a response to a recurring plea from leaders across these sectors that how do I present myself online? And this is what ldrx.ai is focusing on. It is dedicated to empower the next generation of leaders to enhance their digital footprints, build public personas, remove the barriers to action, and be their best selves in this age of AI. So now it is the time that we all put a hat to our thinking, and let's welcome our guest to the stage for what promises to be an engaging and insightful session.
Thank you, Hitakshi, for a very good introduction. So, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to today's fireside chat session on artificial intelligence, media trends. It's a buzz topic, as Hitakshi has already asked you. So I just realized that first year students, you are only aware of the full form of AI, which is artificial intelligence. But today in this session, you will obviously learn, and you'll also realize that how AI is transforming the media landscape in today's scenario. So from content production, distribution, audience engagement, personalization, we are going to discuss all of these things today. So I would like to welcome our guest, and without further ado, let's just delve into this conversation. So, sir, may I begin? Okay. So, thank you, Dhiraj and Ishan, for joining us today. I would actually like to start by asking general questions first. So, my first question to you both is, what are the most significant ways in which AI is transforming the media industry today?
So, Dhiraj, why don't you start? Because you're a technologist more in this domain more than
I think it's about, we started with the AI thing with the hype, but I think it's slowly getting into our ecosystem, and we've been integrating few AI initiatives in our CMS itself. We just piloted with very basic enhancements for our newsrooms in the CMS ecosystem, which ideally either you were not using it or you were jumping to many more options doing it, such as paraphrasing. Or you were struggling with identifying what sort of headline should I go with my content. So we've started with these minute initiatives so that we can help our newsrooms to figure out and identify how we can use these initiatives. For I said, like generating few headlines. You can finally select one of the headlines, or you may paraphrase something that you would like to consume. Then we gradually move to, as the world is moving towards the regional content, the consumption at South properties is highly as compared to English. So, it actually opens a horizon for AI to generate or to translate English content into the regional properties. But obviously, because the AI is not advanced in terms of regional properties, we generally need our experts, the newsroom people, to review and recycle the content. But again, like we started with these few initiatives, which now have turned into automation of content completely. We are passing a few stories, and it can create a random story for you, wherein you can polish it and publish it online. We are creating multiple content types. You pass on just textual article, and we'll create a video for you. We'll create a web story, a slideshow for you. So hence, I mean, it has shaped up from very basic use cases to much larger kind of content, wherein your expertise is required just to review, whereas all the minute details are being taken care by the AI itself.
Yeah, and I completely agree with Dhiraj. I think he stressed on a very important point that you are the expert over here. AI is not the expert. So each one of you who is worried about jobs or anything, you are the expert, and that is why the industry will welcome you with open arms, irrespective of the industry you choose, because AI is an enabling tool. It's a productivity tool. It's an efficiency tool. It is not going to take your job. But what you're going to be doing is going to be applying yourself a lot more. So that's the opportunity that AI has given. Why did I start ldrx? ldrx was coming from an idea, and Sanjeev has been witness to my journey as well, that I came from a point of view of starting off as a media person, being a television anchor, being a political reporter, news reporter. But then I said, what I am doing? I am building narratives. So why don't I build narratives for other interventions? So focused on political campaigns, political technology. Technology, then you realize, was one of the big common factors in terms of achieving scale, that you're able to reach a wider audience, you're able to convey your message to a wider audience. But the only challenge in terms of that scale for me and for the opportunity that I was trying to exploit was that how do I get the expertise or that narrative building skill that I have to many people. And therefore we came out with a platform that allows you to build your own narratives with AI support. So what you essentially do is you figure out through your expertise of what you want to talk about that nobody else can do for you. What AI can do is in a predictive manner suggest that this is something interesting. Say for example, here's a new way to develop a CMS, or here's a new analytics sort of an outlook that has come in. Should we serve to Dhiraj versus Sanjeev? Would we serve content around student psychology and how that's changed with the advent of AI? So various kind of facets and ideas can come in. How you utilize that is your core human expertise that is not going to get diluted. There's no machine that's going to replace that. But yes, if you sort of are resistant to technology, that's where the challenge starts happening in your career.
And the name itself says artificial.
Yeah, it's
it cannot replace the manual expertise.
So thank you, Dhiraj and Ishan. I think it's very interesting to actually say that humans are still required. So there's this misconception that humans are not required, but we still need to review it. We still need to give them commands. We still need to decide, okay, what content needs to go on the web or on TV. So I'm thinking that we have discussed creation here, we have discussed production here. What about the distribution? How AI has changed content distribution?
How it's changing content distribution is you can virtually create anything, and you can be served content that is extremely specific to you basis your learning. So it's not new, right? The fact that every time you would open a platform, a social media platform or a website, and suddenly you will be served an ad that you were just thinking about, what was that? That was AI analytics or machine learning analytics. AI has become cool or a buzzword thanks to OpenAI's marketing efforts, but this is not new. I'm sure Times was implementing similar programs for a while now. But what it certainly does is it provides you an opportunity to get content that is very specifically tailor-made to you. Say for example, on the Times of India website, and I'm sure they'll be experimenting with this, will be different summaries for different people. That if I'm a doctor, I need to see what is relevant to me in that article versus I am a political player or I am a lay user, whatever it is. Matching your user behavior or user analytics with content analytics, I think will be a game changer in how content is viewed, served to you and consumed.
Yeah, so in continuation, obviously he's covered everything, but in continuation to what Ishan mentioned, the analytics played a crucial role in terms of distribution. If you just go, a decade old, you'll find that application used to ask for your interest.
Yes.
Now nobody's asking your key interest. They are just consuming, so they are just tracking what you are consuming. Even, you must be browsing all these OTT platforms. As soon as you finish a movie or series on Netflix, they'll simply ask you whether you liked it or not. So they're just understanding your viewing pattern, so they can actually recommend similar stuff to you. And it's about creating groups or cohorts. If you are into more of the action genre and I'm more into comedy, probably I'll be served more of the comedy as compared to yours. But both of us are consuming the same OTT platform.
It is actually quite interesting because I was thinking the other day, I think we discussed in one of our classes also. So whatever we are thinking, AI is also showing us that. So how is that happening?
That was happening before that. Yeah. Because
whatever we are thinking,
because all the cookies that you give out every time.
So whatever we are saying, that is being tracked, that is okay. But whatever we are thinking,
I mean, predictive behavior.
So is it actually thinking, or your thinking leads to some actions on something? Probably your shopping history, your browsing history on Amazon, and you've already mapped it to the Alexa app.
you've got your answer, I think, guys. Yes.
I think very interesting.
So how many of you actually use ChatGPT? The front row does not use ChatGPT. How are you going to do your assignments?
How many of you pay for ChatGPT? Yeah, I'm curious about that.
How many of you pay for it? Has anybody subscribed to any LLM?
How many of you use WhatsApp Meta AI? What do you use it for? For fun? For sending memes? Do you use it in chats or are you using it for like query answering?
Query answering.
Because that's how I use it with my friends.
Just in case we are too lazy to open ChatGPT.
Do you use any other tool apart from ChatGPT or just ChatGPT? Gemini? Which one do you like? Gemini.
Who
Okay.
said Copilot? You are my friend.
Nobody was saying Copilot.
And this boy said Midjourney.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we have people. I think we also need to discuss with our.
How many people don't use?
Yes. So how many of you are still not using any AI tool? Or at least let's talk about ChatGPT. You're not using any?
Why? Why?
Why?
Well, now I didn't have the need.
No need.
No need for it.
Just parent.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody else who's not using?
You're not using? So you're creating content by yourself?
Why as a rule or why?
Like I generally try to use my own brain in ChatGPT, but whenever I feel needing, I'll already.
So at least she's not biased with that.
Yes.
Right?
She's still using her brains to create content.
But you should try it once.
Sure, sir, definitely.
And then take a call whether you want to use your brain or you want to let somebody else do a bit of your work.
Sure, sir.
Hai na?
Yeah.
So I think let's move on from this discussion and actually take it forward. Could you recommend us what are the AI tools which are there in the market, some tools you want to talk about which probably students can use, but of course we're going to keep a check. But yes.
I am biased, okay? ldrx, I have an app, please do download it. It's for you guys, you'll discover awesome news and trends you can talk about. Do give it a try and give feedback, okay? Even if you don't like it, tell Sanjeev, you have my contact details, you can take it from him or your professor over here. But do give it a spin. But yeah, there are other tools like Runway, Midjourney for video. Suno for audio is very interesting. Because the uptick on audio, given the fact that people like to listen to podcasts, people are liking that kind of creator-led content, that will be very interesting. Apart from that, of course, the ChatGPT kind of tools are there, but don't use that, use ldrx.
So you rightly mentioned that there are few others like a Cool and Leonardo, but probably I would like to hear from all of you, what are you using?
Yes, guys, what are you using?
At least we get an idea now what are the free tools available out there in the market.
Why is no adoption happening?
So please tell us, please feel free to tell us which tools are you using? ChatGPT we discussed, Gemini, Copilot. What other video tools, audio tools you're using? Anybody?
Casper. Actually, I had to go Casper.
Canva.
Canva, okay, Canva,
Okay.
yes.
Canva. What
There is
else?
something called Leonardo AI for visual images.
So you're not generating, as Donovan said, are you generating visual images as well? Yeah, are you converting audio to video? Are you trying to convert text to generate images? Are you doing all of that? Okay. Which else? What else? Assignments में तो बहुत tools दिखते हैं. So they are not accepting it. Text to video. Are you aware of these tools that you can actually convert a text to video and also you can give a prompt and then convert it to an image? Are you aware of these tools? But are you aware that this principle happens, this concept happens? Yeah, Shalini?
In video also.
Yes.
Even a picture also. If you put a picture and ask it to analyze it, it gives you proper text.
Good. So what else? Anybody else? I think first years are still not using it. School में कुछ use नहीं किया है ना? Now you're at the right place actually. So you
Everybody is using it, image enhancers using AI, or still using your phone's enhancement using AI. Good. Which one?
Inbuilt phone.
Inbuilt phone.
inbuilt phone. Please tell us which tools are there.
I think we've got Shirish who can actually address the question.
We have a session on this in the second
They
Pallavi?
want to reserve this. They want to reserve this question.
So actually, I think I'm jumping the gun. You guys have another very interesting session with two very good people. We have Antariksh and we have Shrish. Can I request you just please stand up so you can see them? They work along with Dhiraj and they're a part of a very innovative team. So there will be a lot of Q&As that will happen, but that will happen in the next session. So if you have any queries, questions, etc., please write them down, keep them handy, and you can address it to them. Yeah?
Thank you. Okay guys, so coming back to our questions, I would still like to understand more from you that how AI is actually helping us in personalizing content and in media, in journalism, how personalization is helping.
Okay. So I think there are two facets to it. One is the person who's behind the CMS, and the other one who's consuming it. For consumption, it's about my pattern. As I mentioned about Netflix or let's say Amazon Prime, I'm just what I'm consuming. We can create a cohort, we can create a group, and keep on enhancing the AI capability so that we can just zero in what kind of content someone is producing. When we come back to the person who's drafting the content, every individual has its way of presenting the narrative, or how you would be drafting a story. In that sense, we have analytics in the CMS ecosystem, wherein we can identify the pattern of your writing, and we can create the semantics around the same. In the CMS ecosystem, we can actually recommend stories. So let's say you're writing a story on Vignesh. What all happened in the past few days, you would like to add those as related. The CMS will automatically recommend the pattern that you follow so that you can simply pick and choose. What we are trying to do is we are trying to reduce your burden in searching the content that you've already published or probably your team members might have published. So in a way we are recommending stories, which stories, it could be slideshows or web stories, or any podcast or videos that are available. So that's how we just.
One of the things that in our research, when we were building out the product that came through, was the idea that people can create, but what is missing often in their creation process or creative process is this good? Should I publish this? Is this good enough for me to add to my sort of what I'm saying publicly? And that, I think AI can also be a great content tool in that sense of ensuring that you're able to get to a point where the content that you're writing is much more enhanced. That's why I keep talking about AI being an assistant, using it as an assistant, not as a vetting authority, not saying, okay, ChatGPT, write a great draft of this article for me, it will draft a great article. No, it will not do that. But if ChatGPT and you've trained an AI agent or some other tool to do that for you, of saying, okay, I need to write an article, the AI agent or the tool should be asking you, okay, what are the data points that you would like to highlight? And is there any quote that you would like to highlight? Is there any sort of any other trend that you will highlight? Is there any reference article that you would want to? Then that creation process becomes much more comprehensive, and that comes down to a prompt, right? What is happening right now is it's being defined by a prompt of how I put it in. Like I would have to manually put in all these big facts and figures. But as content or CMS systems get better, as things like my app keep getting better, these become sort of automated. You have sort of pre-selected ideas, pre-selected notions. Like what we're implementing is a calendar. On Monday you should talk about this, on Tuesday you should talk about this, on Wednesday you should talk about this. People need that sense of comfort with AI that is there as a friendly assistant. Like I think Meta's done very well with WhatsApp integration of AI, and suddenly on friend chats, rather than searching for a GIF, you say Meta create a GIF like this, and it'll do that in an instant. So that is where the promptness of visualizing anything is very real. Earlier we used to struggle when we were doing that web TV. Way back 2014 to get visuals, right? That you're a young TV setup or a startup, you don't have any sort of reference images, you don't have the database of a Reuters or any other feed. So what do? Today, you just put in a prompt to a free Llama or even ask your WhatsApp to create an image for you, and you suddenly have an image. So the idea of literally being able to show what you mean comes through. But what is the value in what you're seeing is your own, is not AI's. What AI can do is round it off in a nice packaged manner, but agar wo maal andar acha nahi hai, then it won't fly.
I think that's very important to understand, and it's important for all of us to realize that it is actually an assistant. So don't use it to just like give tasks to complete your assignments or complete any work, but obviously use it as an assistant, check your English, check grammar, get some ideas, but at the end of the day, you have to rely on yourself to create content because you are in the content business. So since we are discussing this, let's also discuss what are the potential risks associated with AI. So if you're using AI, how it can actually impact in journalism, what could be the risk related to accuracy and biases.
So one thing I would say that AI cannot replace who you authentically are. You're going to be meeting people, your job, your money, your audience is going to be realizing who you really are. So if you think that you can just use AI to talk in a manner and not imbibe those learnings within you, start talking like that yourself, then there will be a gap, and that gap would be very visible. So work on that, on identifying the authenticity and ensuring that whatever you're saying, whatever you're putting out publicly, whatever you're even putting as an article or even in an assignment is truly your reflection. Because the moment even you guys, if I write anything using ChatGPT, you'll be able to identify it. But if I'm able to present you 5 points that you did not know about, even via ChatGPT, that will be interesting. So it's not about putting out content. It's about authentic content that matches your personality, and you have to live up to that. That will be the expectation of your professors right now. And once you come into the job market, by your peers or your seniors or whoever's hiring you, that is this person real? So be as real, use AI assistants, but imbibe the learning from that. Basically read what you're presenting.
Rightly said. So, again, it's the basic difference of being a manual intelligence as compared to artificial. We grow up as we with the age itself and with the experience itself, and it's human conscious that comes into picture when we deliver something, whether I'm saying something or I'm writing something, and the way I want to present it. If I talk about AI, again, AI relies on certain data. Okay. Now, it entirely depends what sort of data I am feeding. It may be biased, it may not be biased, or there could be lesser volume of the data which has been input to get the results. Hence, it actually comes to you whether whatever assistance you've asked from the AI. Let's say I'm asking them to create a unique animal with the tail of elephant and a face of a mouse. It could create it, but is it possible? That ownership comes to you when you are asking an assistant to create something. That's about it. I mean, so it again depends that as we are constantly saying, it is just an assistant. It doesn't have an authority, and it does not comes up with something that it has to be pushed. It's ultimately your conscious how you would like to present something.
Yes, and in fact, I also want if you could also talk about the potential risk of AI.
I think at their level there is no risk, because the amount of cookies they've given to different apps on their phones, that is a bigger risk than using AI right now. कोई भी ऐप डाउनलोड कर ले तो आप ऐसे ही फटाक से सारा इंफॉर्मेशन आपका गया है. How many of you are using iPhone? काफी है, तो इनको छोड़ के बाकी तो गए, है ना? So I think the risk is as much as downloading any other app. So at your level, I don't think there is much risk associated. The risk happens at a higher level, at an organizational level where, when Dhiraj has a lot of information on him, whether that information is, as diverse as possible, or does it incorporate all aspects of society, etc. So those are larger things you will learn at a later stage. But as of now, I don't think there is too much of risk involved in using these AI apps. I had a question for Ishan. See, Ishan and I, we used to work together, right? And I'm still working, and he's become an entrepreneur. So my question is that we all, we dabbled with technology, we tried different things on social media, etc., emerging technologies. Can you tell us about your experience when dabbling with technology? What led you to rely so much on artificial intelligence? That today your app, basically AI is running your app. So can you, tell us about that experience? Because all of us have a little bit of doubt, right? We don't like to have full faith in this technology. We know that somewhere it will go wrong or something will do wrong. So how did you overcome that barrier? Can you share that experience with us?
Yeah, sure. So coming from a sort of a media journalism background, and then also advising sort of very high value leaders, so to say, I will not name them, but politicians, top politicians, on what to say online, meant that you realize the importance of what is being said. And that is the critical aspect of that idea of what is to be said is that important thing that you need to arrive at. Now, how do you arrive at that? One thing was that what is the best information that is available. So, say for example, on our app, what we had to do was build out an information system, or CMS, very like Dhiraj mentioned. And through that CMS, we collate all the stories that are there happening. And with AI, I don't need to use anybody to classify stories, to sort of summarize stories, to make it presentable to a point where it comes to a human. And this is the critical aspect, and that is where I'm saying expertise comes in. That a human then decides, okay, this is an important story, this is a not so important story. This is the most important story, and therefore should be served to all users. Now, when it comes to the user journey, so once I have a feed and I'm being able to see what I can talk about and new trends that are there and somebody's video that is there, and my Vinesh Fogart has been thrown under the bus by the IOA, all those articles are there. I choose, okay, I need to talk about IOA, I need to stand up for Vinesh. Now that is my intent. That is the intent that nobody can replace for you, no technology. What technology can do, it's prompting you, it's telling you, here's something important about Vinesh Fogart, you've been following this story, you've read 10 articles about it, why don't you react to it right now? Because you're passionate about it. So that is where AI suddenly gives you 10 options. But in those 10 options on our app, say for example, we give you 10 options to how to talk about a story, we still say that it's 60% of the way there. If you want to use it, you can publish it instantly and you might get likes depending upon how your social connections are. But if you really want it to be meaningful, then add something to it. So what you're taking, AI essentially, is as a building block of the conversation that you want to have, and then build your authenticity around it. Apply yourself. And I cannot tell you this more than anybody else, that I have seen that and been witness to that. I have been a flaker also, and I've tried really applying myself also. With the flaker thing, and he knows that so well, that it's easy to get by, but it doesn't add value. The moment you start applying yourself to actually solving problems, understanding where you exist, say for example within the ecosystem of the university, what's expected from you, when you go into a job, how does that job affect the company, how does it affect money? Apply yourself. That is the one thing that will always keep you safe, irrespective of the technology changes that we have. That's why I think scalability must be one factor. Scalability, of course, is a factor. So the thing is, why start a tech company? Why start an app? If I'm being able to charge for a narrative development, tidy sum of money to an individual, why do I need to give it to more people? Well, the idea is to give it to as many people as possible so that they're able to find their own voice. AI helps you scale in a manner that was unprecedented. Content writing was unprecedented. When I wanted to start this app, I started a WhatsApp service. I reached out to 100 people and I said, why don't you tell me what you want AI to write about? But then we realized the challenge was that people did not even want to share that. They wanted that to be fed as well. So therefore, you devise systems based upon user feedback, based upon user understanding, but the opportunity of achieving scale, of being able to serve that same idea to 1 million people and get 1 million people to, or 2 million people to react to that idea was certainly not possible before the advent of AI, or was possible, but then you had to do a whole sort of a pipeline of marketing and impact and distribution. Now that is certainly more possible.
Thank you, Ishan. So, Dhiraj, I have this question from you and then obviously Ishan as well. So, what are the challenges you are facing in terms of integrating AI into content management systems or your apps? So, what are the challenges?
I think the basic challenge is acceptance is one. Two, you've got data around, and you should have a clear understanding of how you would like to write a prompt. Obviously, you'll get to you'll get some experience or you'll gain experience while prompting, but again, it has a learning curve of its own. So the basic issue or the problem that we faced while integrating it in the CMS was how to make it that simple. How do you define a user interface so that you get a crystal clarity on the number of steps that will have to input. For example, like Ishan mentioned that there are key prompts that you want to add. You want to write an article, okay, you're sure about it. You've got some write-up. Now you want to make it an explainer, or you want to add a narrative to it, or maybe you would like to add quotes stating as is. When you are drafting an article, probably you will have to keep n number of things in mind. But if you have a very seamless UI to define, okay, this is my writing style, whether it's NutGraph or the others, or you would like to summarize it in like 80 words to make it more SEO friendly. But the content should not be more than 500 words, or it should be like less than between 400 to 500 words. You are providing very simple commands to the AI so that it can give you the desired output. That's where we struggled the most, but we've tried and figured out the boost of it, and we've incorporated the CMS also.
I think it's good to know that giving prompts is really important here. How many of you, I'll just open this question first, how many of you have actually done a course on prompt engineering, online course? Okay, you have? I think the second year have done. So, do you realize, would you like to talk about it? Do you realize the difference after learning the course? Do you think your prompts have gotten better? Anybody? Shreya, I can see you nodding your head.
So, like once you learn the difference between different kinds of prompts.
Be louder.
So, once you have learned it, like there are different kinds of prompts. So, if you want an answer that explains your process or something, there is a different kind of prompts you must use. Or if you want a creative answer, then there is a different prompt. This allows you to like be more appropriate towards the task given to you. So that's why I think we have definitely become better. Because a lot of our work is creative. So if you give a prompt that is analytical or very factual, it doesn't really work. Then there is a clear difference between it's like ChatGPT, there are words that are repetitive constantly. So once you ask, for example, asking ChatGPT to be imaginative, and assuming itself to be something, it gives a better prompt for creative answers.
Actually, that's true. So you need to ask AI to be imaginative.
Copilot may be option.
Copilot also has that option if you want to use it. Yes.
I think एक चीज prompt देते हुए याद रखना चाहिए that it's a machine. If you are giving it a prompt, don't assume it knows anything. Otherwise, उसका जो assumption है वो उसके basis पे answer देगा, right? So, and I learned it the hard way, and then I struggled with OpenAI. Then I went to Copilot. So Copilot में सामने ही आ जाता है. You want it to be imaginative, or you want it to be straight to the point. But when you give a prompt, just remember that the machine has no idea who you are, and based on the prompts, it's trying to figure out what you want. तो कभी आपको एक या दो प्रॉम्प्ट में कोई मतलब आपके लायक का कंटेंट नहीं मिलेगा. So you have to be very specific on what exactly you want and where you're coming from. So I'm sure the first year students, you will be doing a course on prompt engineering. Saurabh, when is it? First year, second year? Second year. So you will learn those prompts, and once you get familiar with the way it is used, you will find that 4 prompt में आपका 20 लाइन का काम हो जाएगा. So it's actually quite value for money.
Yes, the other thing, in fact, on that I would want to add is that right now you have the ability to be creators. So whether to start your own channel, build your own audience, start your own app, the traditional costs that were associated with getting in that expertise or that knowledge, that is sort of been flattened. So I would also encourage you to take up side projects and do those to learn actually, to do practical implementable learning, and you get extremely hireable also through that.
By the way, Ishan should be hiding now.
Would you also like to talk about some challenges you face in terms of adopting AI?
No, challenges is that, and that's the thing that, as Sanjeev mentioned, right? Don't view it as a friend or a god or a buddy. It is there as a tool, as an assistant. It's not some superpower. It's just basically synthesized data of all of us that is being presented in a manner that is consumable and is familiar to us. But rather than challenges, I will still focus on opportunities, because the challenges are more on our end. I don't think there are really technological challenges that are this thing. It's just adoption challenges that, oh, what will happen to my job, or what will happen to my sort of industry. But things evolve, things change. Broadcast is evolved into YouTube to a certain manner, right? So things will change. View it as an opportunity, view it as a solo opportunity. Imagine this, that today your college project that you decide to do could be a revenue earner for you the moment you step out of college. You don't need to then come to Dhiraj or me for a job. You can in fact hire us.
Absolutely. Just to add, when we were talking about whether AI will snatch our jobs or consume our jobs, the very basic principle of AI, it requires prompting, right? And we all are learning how to prompt better. So in a way, the AI would certainly need our help to get to make it rolling or to get it work. That's the beauty. I mean, as you've mentioned that there will be a prompt engineering course in the second year. It entirely emphasizes that we need to work on AI for it to work.
Absolutely, that's absolutely correct. That we need to keep on upgrading ourselves. We need to understand what prompts need to be given, and then only we'll be able to use it as an assistant, as Ishan mentioned. Talking about this, I would also like to understand that how can the industry address concerns about AI biases, transparency, and accountability? So, what is it?
You being an industry expert.
I'm no industry expert, but yeah, there are obvious challenges. Copyright. Who wrote it first? Am I allowed to reproduce that and produce that as my own? Say, for example, I read a great article written by, or Sanjeev Singh's done a thing called the online selective book, right? Now, am I allowed to take excerpts out of that book and present it as a LinkedIn tweet or a LinkedIn post every Friday as my own without attributing it to Sanjeev Singh? That would be a challenge, right? That is, I can. But the problem is that who owns the content? So that is somewhere I think a lot of regulatory challenges, IP challenges will come in. The other thing one doesn't realize is compute cost with AI. It is not cheap. Right now, it's being heavily discounted thanks to a whole bunch of VC money that has come in. You have grants that are coming in, but the chicken will come home to roost one day. Energy consumption because of AI is also quite high, so you need GPUs that need a massive amount of cooling, and therefore the energy over there expenditure will spiral as well. So all those considerations are there, but at the end of the day, given this room, we're all consumers and creators, so let's focus on that. The larger regulatory challenges, let them be handled by elected representatives, and if they're not doing that, then elect them to do that.
We have a course on public policy and digital media. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that is going to be a very critical thing. See, what happened with, say, for example, digital media was that digital media initially was not viewed as a disruptive force as it was. So the public policy impetus that it was supposed to give, an industry that it was supposed to create, did not happen. And therefore, today you have things like the digital broadcast bill that could throw a spanner in the works of an industry that is now developed organically. So you're trying to rein that in. Might as well do positive regulation right from the get-go, but not our job.
Same problem with Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, I guess, money trend. Talk about that later.
Dhiraj, would you like to talk about?
So just to add, so he's covered most of the governance part, but then again, one of the challenges with AI is that we are consuming the AI stuff and then we are retraining it. It entirely depends what we add, what we feed it in terms of retraining.
Yeah.
If we are retraining it with junk, probably it will be giving us more junk. Hence, regulations is required.
Elon Musk is doing this with Google Gemini and the others every day on Twitter, right? He's shitting all over them saying, this is horrible, how can they not say, or Google Gemini or Meta AI does not recognize Donald Trump's assassination attempt. So there will be challenges, there will be these conversations, but focus on self, I think you'll be fine.
But Gemini does not give you political stuff.
But why should it not?
Exactly. That's why I stopped using it.
See, that's the thing. AI can't be your source for news. The source for news has to be human. Other than that, then it's synthesized information, right? You feed it 5 bad pieces of information and that becomes the truth universal then.
Definitely. So I have one last question before we open to the audiences, and guys, please jot down your points and ask questions. We are just opening to you for in another 5 minutes. So my question to you both is, what do you see as the future of AI in media over the next 5 to 10 years? What do you think is going to be the next thing when it comes to AI in media?
I can't hazard a guess for 5-10 years anymore. I think it's changed dramatically. But I will say what will remain constant is hard work, application of yourself, acquiring knowledge, learning, building out network, but building out network with value. You don't reach out to somebody and say, I need a job. You say, this is what I do, this is the amazing stuff that I do. Do you think this is something that you can use? That is what will give you a job. So 5-10 years from now, I do see AI assistants being that ubiquitous that you're thinking of something and a little robot comes and pours a glass of water and gives you a glass of water. But it will not be a wow thing, it will be just there. It's like the Jetsons.
I do agree with Ishan's point. Probably it will be more acceptance that AI is just to assist you. We are the presenters, we are the content creators, and we would like to share our perspective. And AI is just assisting us to collate all those information on which grounds we would like to serve the audiences.
I also want to say that.
I think in 10 years, smartphones will go. Yes. We'll all.
No one is talking in some direction.
Anybody wants to ask why?
The chip, that implant.
Yeah, so there will be lots more things coming your way. And I think we have a course in Metaverse also.
Surface.
So you'll learn more about
Picture.
where things are moving next. Right? अभी तक पहले print था, फिर audio था, फिर video था, अब multimedia आया. Now what is next? So whatever is next, and if any of you invest in the share market, please invest in some headset company which is making AR, VR headsets. You will be very rich by the time you retire.
Thank you, sir, for your tips. So, guys, you can actually go to Sanjeev, sir, for these tips and become rich later. So, now we'll open the session to everybody in the audience. Please feel free to ask questions from our AI experts, from our technology experts. So, please start raising hands, whatever doubts you have in mind. Okay, great, I saw you first.
Hello sir, I'm Viraji. So my question is about Alan Turing. The Turing test was made, right, to distinguish what is AI generated and what is human written. It was developed during 1950s, during World War, right? But until now, none of the AI is passed it. But the first one was, I think, Eugene Gossman, and then right now ChatGPT. So the Turing test is about how to distinguish. So if they have passed it, and it keeps getting better, how in future are we going to distinguish which is AI and what is human written?
So I would approach it from a point of view of, is it necessary to be that distinctive, right? What makes us human, of course, the intelligence built from the Turing test, and you're able to sort of synthesize, answer, whatever that sort of metric is. But my only take on that would be that ultimately we are the ones who will be eating, consuming, sharing, being emotional about things, being real, right? And that humanity can't be taken away from us. So I would give you that kind of an abstract answer. Because I'm not a technologist, so.
I think I'll go with your answer itself. It depends on human conscious itself, that whether you would like to. So it's about whether you accept it or you deny it. But again, your conscious will play a role. And even if it's an AI and the content or whatever is being served is true, you consume it to be true, then probably you'll go with it. Whether you'll be going for the test every time, that I doubt.
Thank you, sir.
Hello sir, I am Ayushi. So as you said that AI is not going to replace humans because obviously we need humans for any kind of question or everything, but at the end, don't you think that in editing field also, AI is also developing? So for like Photoshop, we just ask AI to remove the background or something. Don't you think it's like compromising with human creativity? And as you said, humans not going to replace, we need employment. But at the end, for example, if you need a content writer for a company, like you need 10 content writer, but now you need it for only the review system, so you will need only 5 content writer. At the end, it's kind of affecting it.
Yes, it is. Dhiraj, go ahead.
So, as of now, what we are looking at is whether we'll get replaced or the workforce will trim down. But with with the invention of few things, as in if you just go back into the history, the cart pullers were manual. There were no cars. But doesn't mean that employment has decreased. There will be new horizons. Okay, the manual work will be reduced. And obviously, if you're just, a person is sitting there and removing the background and manually, probably he's putting much more strain on his eyes. That you can save. But if you just go, a decade old, probably there were no Instagrams and stuff like that. But now there are platforms wherein you can show your creativity. The only content creators were limited to news anchors or the ones who were in the print industry. But now I think everyone is a content creator. So with coming of the AI, probably few things will get removed, or the specialization will get shifted to AI. But there will be much more horizon that will open up.
Yeah, in fact, just add to that so. Don't fear the job loss. Don't fear. What will limit you is if you're just trying to be a cog in a wheel and that wheel is constantly changing. If you decide to be the wheel and say, I will be a content creator, I am not just a graphic designer, I understand why this graphic is important for this particular story, how this graphic can lead to a series of another graphic and become a whole graphic novel for all that matters. But that's the vision that you need to train yourself to. Don't train yourself to a job because jobs evolve, jobs change. I did not, when I got out of media IMC, I did not think that I would ever be running a tech company around artificial intelligence, right? But opportunities come your way as long as you're open to them and be learning. So there are so many online courses, free online courses, apart from the rigor that you guys would be experiencing over here, but develop an expertise, develop a passion project, and I think you'll always be safe as long as you're able to think in a wider manner rather than just focus on acquiring a job of a news anchor, a reporter, or this thing. Understand the sense of a job. A journalist will always be a journalist, irrespective of the medium he communicates. Same thing for a founder or any other sort of field. So focus on that, focus on acquiring a wide range of expertise and employing that in your sort of journey.
Ayushi, I would like to add something here. So as Dhiraj also said, cartwheel example, just so think of the printing press. Printing press was replaced by typewriters, typewriters were replaced by computers, right? So this keep on happening. And economists actually say that the number of jobs in a country or in world does not remain same. new jobs always get created and the opportunities will come along. So you just have to keep upgrading yourselves as everybody is saying. Okay.
One more.
And I think one more thing which is essential is attitude. We have to embrace technology. I'm sure you must have heard that there have been a lot of layoffs in media companies. Why are those layoffs happening? Are they happening because media companies want to lay off people? Maybe partly yes, but majority of it is no. Because when people join a company, I have seen people say, मेरा काम है कार्टून बनाना, मैं बस कार्टून बनाऊंगा. मेरा काम है ग्राफिक बनाना, मैं केवल ग्राफिक बनाऊंगा. Times have changed. Amitabh Bachchan can't say that I am going to make
Angry young man.
He can't be angry young man now, right? So times change and we have to keep evolving. The problem is that when the workforce does not evolve, they all joined the workforce in the 80s and 90s, and they think that it's like a sarkari job and you keep doing what you're doing. But unfortunately, that's changed. You've got so many different mediums that have come up. All the revenue streams have shifted. Different algorithms have taken over. So if you don't change the way you work, then obviously you're going to be left behind, right? So there is no permanent way of doing things. You will, as Ishan said, you will still, at the heart of what you do, you are still doing the same thing. You're a storyteller, you're a creative person. But you have to use these emerging technologies to make sure that you are there where this product needs to be, right? So always be open to adopting technology. If you embrace technology, you will always stay ahead of the race. See, it's only the early adopters who gain the maximum. If you're not an early adopter, you become a follower. So that option will always lie with you, whether you want to be an early adopter or you want to be a follower.
Do they know about your journey, early adoption journey? No, but you should know about this, right? The person who's teaching you, because I have seen him firsthand. So when TV was not cool, or when TV was just starting, Star News, right? He was a top news anchor and reporter over there, covered Olympics way back Australia, if I'm not mistaken. 2000, 25 years ago. So from that, moving on to say digital journalism and launching India's first web TV, to then moving on to what was that? Then running NDTV, car digital operations for a little bit along with other people as well. But just the fact that a journalist who could, so Sanjeev Singh's contemporaries are Rajiv Sardesai and other TV anchors that you see. Sanjeev chose to evolve with this job, just go with the trend of what next. So therefore the advantage is with him, the pressure is less on him, because he knows for that matter that he can do television journalism, he can do digital journalism, he can teach you artificial intelligence and a whole lot more. So Guru se sikho and apply yourself to various domains. Whatever comes your way, learn to imbibe it and grow.
More questions, please?
So hello sir, I'm Vasandra from postgraduate course. I did my undergraduate in English honors, and one issue which I felt I experienced throughout my first couple of years was that we used to write assignments on our own. We used to analyze our novels and stuff, and the assignments we used to submit, the teachers often told us that you have used AI, even though we hadn't. We tried to use our own creativity. So I feel like somewhere the value of human creativity is being underestimated because of the evolving AI. So how can this be resolved? Because the value of human creativity is being decreased. If we see, it's being underestimated. People think that they can't. People think that these things cannot be done by themselves at this point.
So I would say don't take it personally. You're in a stage in your life and career right now where whatever you're submitting is being evaluated critically. where the teacher's role is to sort of test you, right? So don't take it as a dismissal of the effort that you put in, but the teacher's role is to sort of assess that whether you really applied yourself to that idea, to that piece, to that article, assignment, whatever you submitted. And I'll also be honest, I mean, this is a rare room where you have people of our age who are really interested in AI. Other than that, a lot of people are fearful of it. So that might be another factor, but don't let it dissuade you. I'm saying even if you use AI, tell them that you used AI, but for these aspects, so that I did not know this and I was able to cover this in this manner. But yeah, stick to the format of the assignment. If it's telling you not to use artificial intelligence, don't use it. But yeah, if somebody is saying something, then it's a matter of opinion. Take it in your stride and move on. You do that.
Hello sir, my name is Kathy. I really wanted to ask one question, that is, you just mentioned it, that copyright can be an issue in a content writing. If we are taking somebody's text or quotes, a copyright issue can arise. But what if we paraphrase it and then copy it on a LinkedIn or everywhere? Tab to issue nahi aayega. So then where is the copyright issue?
But paraphrasing maybe wo pakda ja sakta hai just because of a thing of where did this idea come from. Unless and until you're talking about something that is commonly known, if something is that unique, then how did you suddenly start talking about it?
Paraphrasing it twice, thrice, words change.
नहीं, words change करने से idea का essence नहीं change रहा ना. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not about the words. Words are there. Words you can use. I will use. AI will use. Everybody will use. What is the idea that you're conveying? Who owns the idea? And every time you're using somebody else's idea, everybody likes their ideas to be propagated. That's the natural journey of an idea. What you can do is attribute source. Always attribute source, and that's it. Like on our app also, what we do is, you want to talk about this article, please do talk about it. Here's a summary, here's a paraphrasing of an article, 10 other versions of it, but do use the link at the end of why you're writing about this. Where did you get the story to talk about this? Why are you talking about this on that particular day?
Hello sir, my name is Vansh. My question is, in the corporate world, who would you hire? A person who uses AI a lot and a person who not uses AI and is very creative?
So it's a tough one, right? The thing is, ultimately it comes down to the output. Whether the challenge is not the process, the challenge is ultimately what is the final output, and if you're really good with it and the output makes sense, then that is what makes sense, right? A business functions towards an outcome. That outcome is whether I want to produce a tissue paper or whether I want to produce a design in front of that tissue paper. Creativity is also subjective. So don't get into, so when you're in college, it's great to have these sort of battle of ideas, but when it comes down to practicality, the best creative wins, irrespective of whether AI or not.
So is there a need of AI people more than the creative ones?
No, I think the need is for more creative people to produce more. So whether you're using AI to produce more, whether you're producing more yourself, but the application needs to come in.
So ultimately it's the value that you bring to the table. Now, you are investing your brains to do it, or you are taking AI's help to, come up with better ideas and produce more content as compared to, burdening your own brain. So it entirely depends how you function. Ultimately, it will be the value that you bring to the table.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. My name is Vanshika. Sir, I really want to ask you a question that don't you think so that we are depending on AI for everything? Like if we are not using our brain that much, like it is very easy, like if there is a refinement or something, so we are clearly just using AI. So how it is like we are not using our own creativity. So
I completely agree with you, and I think it's one of the biggest challenges that we have. Even I face it with my kid. All he does is he goes to ChatGPT and just add certain prompts. Even though he's good at prompting, which is good, but he's not applying his brain to accomplish something. He had to prepare a PPT. I'm just sharing what happened yesterday itself. He had to prepare a PPT for his walk-in kind of a scenario which happened in school. So my concern here is, yes, again, it is about the human, how do you want to go about it? And I exactly was just explaining him that, okay, now you are taking help of ChatGPT, your work is getting accomplished. Maybe you will get some sort of rewards on that also. But you are getting too much dependent on something and you're not applying your brains out of it. So it entirely depends how, as a person, I would like to go about it. If I become that lazy and I may not be, I can function for 1 or 2 more years, but I'm not able to function for the rest of my life, that conscious I'll have to bring in myself.
Sir, I want to ask one more question. Sir, don't you think so that AI is like covering all jobs, like of news anchor? Like I've seen a video of like a teacher is teaching in school. It is not like human, it's an AI. And like in China, there is a waiter, not a human, is like serving people. It is AI who is doing that. So sir, don't you think so that which people who are like not educated, so they do this little jobs to like earn what are your opinions on it? It is taking all of the jobs of the people.
So as I said, I don't think it's taking away that many jobs. Yes, what is happening is teachers, for example, need to be more efficient.
Yes.
Earlier, what used to happen, and I'm sure you've been to school and had that journey of bad teachers, right? Who don't apply themselves. And then you have great teachers who apply themselves, who ask you, are you learning, who will break it down for you in a manner that is sort of easier for you to understand, that is more tailor-made for you, keeping in mind your consideration, if you have any sort of hearing disability or speech disability or learning disability. So I think it's a great way that AI can come in and actually enable people. Jobs will change. Jobs, as Dhiraj pointed out, right? Jobs change over time with technology. Things will change. But the benefit that net humanity is getting out of AI, I think far outweighs it. The other thing is, should we really be working that much? I mean, are we meant to be working 15 hours a day? Or should we be working on 4 hours a day with a lot of passion, with a lot of interest, with a lot of gusto, and ensure that that makes us earn the money that we deserve?
Yes, sir, but I really want to ask you one question. Sorry, sir, for that.
No, please.
Sir, like there is a human-to-human connection which we vibe with people, so we can ask comfortably with a student or a teacher if we have any doubts. So, sir, are you are you sure that we can able to connect that connection with AI, which we are able to connect it with?
Teacher, I think the teacher can answer that.
You will be surprised with the connection you have with your AI model that you use. I am telling you, it's out of this world. It will fail your girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse. It is that scary. If you fall in love with your AI, baaki sab bhul jao, you become a loner.
Okay, here's a quick question for you. Do you know which is the top downloaded AI app in the world? Most used? No. It's an app called character.ai. What it is essentially talking to characters, learning from them, people. So people crave that human-to-human connection. What you have the ability right now, if you have like in a video game, a non-playing character can now have a whole personality and a stream developed around them. But yeah.
You have AI therapists. And they are getting popular by the day. Trust me, the level of personalization available is amazing. It's mind-blowing.
But be careful of who is sharing personal data.
But coming back to your question on teachers, see, in a country like India, I don't know if you guys read the news maybe 2 days ago, there is a teacher in Gujarat, Mrs. Patel. She's been living in the US for 20 years and she's been doing the job of a school teacher in Gujarat. She comes once every year and she's been picking up her pay for the past 20 years despite being in the US. So our education systems are that poor that if we use this technology, we can actually reach out to the underprivileged. For the privileged people like you and I, there will always be the need for that personal connect, which is always there. Right? But as Ishan said and as Dhiraj was pointing out, that if you look at the larger picture for humanity, the pros will always outweigh the cons. It's not, and then when you have, let's say, a bot taking a class, who is feeding that bot? Right? There will be those ancillary jobs that will come up. Who's taking that feedback? How are you personalizing that educational content from person A to person B? So those kind of jobs will also come up, right? And then you need to fill up those jobs. So all that will come up, and your media students, you will be at the forefront of using this technology. People will make technology and tools, and they will try it out through people like you. So you will use it and say that this is not good, or this is very slow, or something like that. So that's where you need to pitch in. And try to do a little bit of maths also, because ultimately the way technology is scaling up, you should have some understanding of maths. अगर 10th तक किया है, binary system पता है, क्योंकि अब blockchain आ रहा है, तो blockchain सौरभ आपको पढ़ाएंगे at some stage. तो थोड़ा बहुत elementary maths and statistics, try to take out some time and do that as well. That will also come in handy to you.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Hi, Mr. Ishan sir just mentioned the topic of how many hours we should work per day, per week, and my question was regarding the point of AI. So everybody's talking about how AI is supposed to bring efficiency and increase work ethic and stuff like that, but I feel that's not the point, because industry leaders like Narayan Murthy are proposing 70-hour work weeks, even though AI is on the rise and it's used for efficiency. So I just wanted Ishan sir's opinion on that.
So, as I said, here's the journey. Through your 20s, through your journey right now where you are, learn, apply, work 12 hours, work 15 hours, because what it does is tells you how to deal with people. You're living in a real world. Organizations are populated by people. Understand people, build network. Then you can come down to saying, okay, after having understood the industry that I operate in, having gotten feedback of how good I am in that industry, how am I learning about what next I want to do, then you can come back and take a step back and say that yes, I want to ideally work a 4-hour day. But that 4-hour day is very critical, because that doesn't mean that you need to sort of go to office for only 4 hours and come back in that 4 hours. Offices are not that anymore. I don't have a single employee in Delhi. My AI team sits out of Kochi, my UI team and dev team sits out of Hyderabad. There's another team that sits out of Bangalore, and Bombay runs my content operation, right? And there are experts from various domains who are doing that. What I am expecting them to do is to ensure that rather than me saying you clock in at 9 AM and leave at 5 and hopefully you've done the work that you've done, I'm saying you take as much time what you need to do. You tell me what you're going to be doing in the morning and tell me at the end of the day how much did you achieve out of that. You set your own standards and your own parameters and be your own boss. Now that is where I think the world would evolve into. Also a lot of independent creation. Right now what has happened is typically 5 years or 7 years ago, if I were to set up a company, given the operation that I have right now, I would have required 25 people. I am down to 12 people. That doesn't mean that job losses are happening. That means that companies like mine will be many more companies doing this. So the overall pool of companies increases, because the ability to create a company, the ability to get an idea to life becomes much more. So, and then you need to have time to not get burnt out. I mean, all of us, half the professors ask them about their experiences in media, and then you'll realize that a lot of time was being wasted. So rather than that, invest that time on yourself.
It's not about quantifying time or the number of hours you spend. Let's take an example. You can study for 2 hours and you can just cover up an entire syllabus in those 2 hours. I may take 8 hours because I am maybe concentrating on something else. So it's not about quantifying number of hours that you spend. It is about what you are achieving within those time, within those number of hours.
हेलो सर, माय नेम इज श्रेया। सो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि लाइक जो भी हम रिसर्च करते हैं, लाइक रिसेंटली द रिसर्च एआई भी आजकल बहुत चल रहा है, तो क्या मतलब एज अ रिसर्च एआई सही है? क्योंकि बहुत सारे रिसर्च एआई मतलब रिसर्च ऐप सारे आते हैं जो कि एआई बेस्ड रहते हैं।
In fact, I'm a research agent, you can try out as well. But as long as there are sources, check those sources. If the researcher is not giving you sources, then you can assume that it's not valid to use. I mean, you can use it for a reading, but you have to then do your own research to validate that research. So as long as you see the data points that the AI is given, and then also validate those data points. अगर link दे दिया तो link खोलो एक बार कि इसमें बोला भी है या नहीं.
So if my research is not entirely based on WhatsApp forwards, I'll have to think through.
नहीं, लेकिन क्वेश्चन क्या था कि एआई में रिसर्च करना ठीक है कि रिसर्च में एआई यूज करना चाहिए?
लाइक एआई एज अ मतलब रिसर्च जो भी करते हैं उसमें एआई का यूज करते हैं ना, तो
क्यों नहीं करना चाहिए? अगर
लेकिन सर कभी-कभी शो करते कि डाटा गलत हो जाता है कभी-कभी।
तो इसीलिए तो आप हो।
लेकिन सर
गाड़ी आप चलाते हो, मान लो आप गाड़ी चला रहे हो, तो आप बस एक्सेलरेटर दबाओगे, ब्रेक नहीं दबाओगे, तो गाड़ी लड़ जाएगी, बोलो देखो गाड़ी लड़ गई, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है। तो यू आर इन चार्ज, एज ईशान सेड, यू आर इन चार्ज ऑफ दैट बीस्ट। अब आपको उसको कब ब्रेक लगाना है, कब भगाना है, वो आपके ऊपर है। आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि इसने गलत डेटा दे दिया, अरे तो आप क्या कर रहे हैं, आप इसीलिए तो हैं, वो आपकी मदद के लिए। घोड़े पे आप सवार हो गए और घोड़ा निकल गया बाएं, आपको जाना था दाएं, तो उसमें किसकी गलती है? घुड़सवार की गलती है ना, तो वो आपको देखना पड़ेगा।
Hi, my name is Robin. I am not that familiar with AI, but my question would be that if I made an article through prompts, and you would say that prompts are made through like already existing data that the AI has. I have to be very specific with the prompts. But the prompts are already based on what has already been created or what has been already has been selling. But suppose there is a new or original idea which is not based on the prompts, or the AI won't be able to take it. Like, wouldn't an original experience or an idea take a step back to what has been already existing?
So I think in the sea of humanity, a lot of things are already existing. I mean, with the conversation that I am having is based on things I have read, I have learned, I have prepped for coming to meet you guys about questions that you might ask, right? So I am also regurgitating information that is readily available. My case in point over here would be play around with AI, try it. I don't think that that uniqueness that you're seeking, I think is a little bit of a utopian idea. And once you actually start playing around with it, you'll realize the directions that you can take it in and be actually unique while staying true to the sort of core tenets of how to write a prompt, or what is information, or what is data visualization.
No. तो creativity क्या होता है? Creativity होता है already existing creation में से कुछ नया आता है ना. It's not something which is like a shooting star that comes out, right?
So even when you do research, when you're trying to find something new, it comes out of existing research only. तो आप जब यूज करेंगे ना, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप कुछ अलग खोजने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। वो जो उस मतलब जो उस इकोसिस्टम में चल रहा है, उसी में से कुछ निकल कर आएगा। So don't view creativity as something in isolation. Creativity is something which is going to come out of existing content. So it's only, as Ishan said, it's only when you play around with the existing content that you will be able to find new patterns, new trends, something innovative. It doesn't come out of thin air. It comes out of already existing data. So therefore, if you think that if you're going to use artificial intelligence and it's somewhere going to curb your creativity, I don't think that will happen. You play around with it, you see if there is any is it helping you unearth a new pattern or a trend? Then it will help you. तो उसी में से निकल कर आएगा. वो कैसे आएगा? आप जितना उसमें permutation और combination लगाओगे उसके बाद ही निकलेगा. तो it's an ongoing process. वो उसी में से आएगा. अलग से नहीं आएगा कैसे?
Hello, sir. So I wanted to ask, like, in our field, like creativity is it's kind of our backbone, and we encounter creative blocks on a very frequent basis. So how can we leverage AI to be able to help us out of our creative blocks?
So, with limited trials that I've done, it entirely depends how you prompt it. For example, if I'm saying that I would like to imagine myself, and I'll just pass in my photograph in front of Eiffel Tower. So, with very minimal audience adjacent to me, that has to be blurred, but only I and the Eiffel Tower should be very clear. That's how I'll be doing the prompting, and that's when your creativity comes into picture. You've created a picture with using AI, and you've built a narrative while creating. In my trip to Eiffel Tower, the sun was light and bright, and I was standing in front of it. It was an awesome experience. So with all these things, you're just trying to convey your thoughts with more visual impact, I suppose. And wherein these AI elements will come into picture. Let's take a look.
While we find ourselves stuck up in our own ideas when we are trying to come up with creative things, how can we leverage the use of AI?
Ask it, no.
And that's the best use case, right? Yeah, that you say, okay, this is what I've created, evaluated, what more corrections can I do, what more can I do, what more can I do, what more can I do.
10 options and then you know what is the 11th option yourself.
You can reach out to Pallavi ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Mohak. So ChatGPT now has a new feature where it saves your memories from your chats. So how safe is it to give your data to these tools, given they're implementing newer features like saving memories and all? How safe is it? Because I use ChatGPT a lot, and my memories are coming.
It is as safe as giving your number to some unknown girl.
Yeah, but it's an important point, and I would say that as long as it's benefiting you, I see no harm. I don't see the moment OpenAI or any sort of website starts selling your data. Say, for example, Facebook had this problem with Cambridge Analytica, right? That 70 million users' data, it was suddenly stolen, and patterns were developed, and they were being targeted in a certain manner for ads and political ads and other things. Now, therefore, don't stress on that, but be aware of where your data is being used, and that memory in any case will be used to train its own data. So, I mean, it's inescapable to a certain extent right now.
Thank you, sir.
आप उसको दोगे ना डेटा तो आपका personalization better होगा. You understand? That's the call you have to take.
So also, please understand that there are massive regulatory challenges on selling data. Say, for example, India में उतना compliance का stress नहीं है, but Europe with the GDPR rules has very strict data compliance rules. So if you're using a global platform that is available in Europe, it will have sort of those rules in place for privacy of an individual user.
Thanks to GDPR, the world is talking about privacy now.
Yeah.
So I have just one thing that I would like to add here. So it's not like totally thinking, like if you're thinking of it from a view that you're sharing your data with the new memory feature, it's not like that. Even without that feature, you have been sharing your data with these AI platforms whenever you're typing a text and whenever the response is being generated. With memory, what it is enabling is that within the same chat, you can refer to what you have talked in that thread. So for example, if you have talked about n number of things and suddenly you want to reference particular time which you have talked about in that thread, it will refer to that and will probably generate answers accordingly. So memory is a different thing. Memory is just the in context that you are providing while in that thread, whereas the data you have been putting to ChatGPT, to Claude or Anthropic anywhere, it's already getting
presence of AI anchors in Indian journalism influence audience engagement and trust compared to traditional human anchors? Because
go slow.
Yes. How does the presence of AI anchors in Indian journalism influence audience engagement and trust compared to traditional human anchors? Because at the end of the day, the industry we are in, we are dealing with people. So being emotional and sensitive is very crucial in certain situations.
So human anchors versus
AI
versus AI anchors. Okay. Great.
I'll answer.
See, humans are irreplaceable right now. Okay, right now it is a concept. So these bots that you see or AI anchors, they are all experiments that are taking place right now. But they are also being trained, because what happens is that, let's say suddenly you have some breaking news at 2 a.m. Some God forbid, some plane has crashed. अब आप 2 बजे एंकर कहाँ से लाओगे? How will you get everybody? So you have to prepare for those things. So right now it is only being used in places where there are logistical issues, or issues where there is less viewership, etc. There it's being used, and right now it's in a very nascent state. So it's in a very experimental phase. But yes, maybe after a few years there will be a time when this debate will happen. But I think we have time for that. But right now everybody is preparing for it. So अभी उसमें time है. तब तक you have time to master, this craft and see how it can help you. But I don't think it will ever be in a position to replace humans. And for that level of technology, it will take much more time. कम से कम, I think at least 10 years तो लगेगा उसमें.
The other thing, because I have done a little bit of TV anchoring, so one of the major things you'll have to understand is it's not about reading news or this thing. It's about being present, having a little bit of institutional memory that you can say, why is this being said right now? Oh, because that one had said that at that point of time, and that is the historical context for this. So that's the job of an anchor, of a journalist. So that's what I'm saying. The job of a journalist will not change. The fact that you're the repository for information, what is right, what is wrong, what was said previously, institutional memory, that's the job of a journalist. Whether you're being presented as an anchor, because I think that age of the anchor is also over. Right now with AI, I can have myself reading the news for me, right? I can just ask a AI model to read out a rundown that is written by AI, and that will be read to me. But if I wanted to inform me, then I would rather trust a human. So it's not about just data that is available, but data being contextualized, and I don't think AI can do that well as it is right now.
Do we have more questions?
One question. One last question.
Okay, one last question. From the anchor. Okay, Hitakshi, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, sir, my name is Hitakshi, and I was working in Times Not Digital only for 2 months or so for my internship, and it was especially the elections time. So one thing that I personally realized that like a Gen Z thing that we have, we are more influenced to the news that is more on Instagram and social media apps rather than actually the newspaper and the actual stuff. So as sir said, AI हमारा ऐसा best friend बन जाता है कि you just forget everything. So it's like that day we were discussing in a class or it's like our opinions get formed the way it's like if I'm looking at a news, especially if it is a political news, I am looking at one perspective of it and then it gets biased, I think particularly because then you just keep looking at it rather than looking at the other perspective of it. So how to make sure, because that's a human thing कि अगर आपको कोई चीज़ के बारे में पढ़ना अच्छा लग रहा है, आप उसके बारे में और स्क्रॉल करके उसको रीड करना शुरू कर देते हो. But then that's how it is.
Isn't the
all about
business of making you an
Yeah.
So
You have to catch him. And you don't catch him, you catch those to them.
And she's part of it. She contributed to it. No?
So how do you take care of that? That your biases don't come into that?
That's a challenge as of now. We should agree that's a challenge as of now, which we all need to work upon. And biasness is not only restricted to AI. As I was mentioning about WhatsApp forwards. Not to shame, if you're consuming the same sort of news every day and that's being circulated in your entire group, you tend to get biased towards those thinking. So the solution is still not there. We'll all have to think through it.
Social media में कोई option नहीं है. आप वो तो आपको only reading what you've done before, so it will keep giving you similar kind of view.
But as a journalist, you have to be skeptical, and I think that is your best friend.
Yeah,
saying, yeah, I don't know why this is being said, or understand the why of it.
X has that option. If you choose who you want to follow, it gives you two options. One is what you want to follow, and one is what it recommends. उसमें at least एक option है.
So follow multiple channels. You should know that you are reading the same kind of content.
Tweet
That
text.
awareness should be there. Okay, so I guess we'll have to now wind up the session. We would like to thank our guests and to I hope you learned a bit about AI today and you'll learn the rest of the things in your classrooms. So, thank you everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.